Let's bring more positivity into the room. Standing strong with Waylon Myers. You are worth it. Stay strong. Together we can overcome anything. Anxiety, depression, victim of bullying, trouble with eating disorders, struggling with your weight, interviewing people around the globe with their hard times with these events in life, and letting you know you're not alone and you're worth it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Standing Strong with Waylon Myers. I am Waylon, and I have been away for 4 months taking care of myself and just regrouping. Anxiety and depression begin in the way big time, but no, you can overcome it. In case you missed the 50th episode of Standing Strong back in January, as I interviewed Lillian Garcia, go back and give it a listen. I'm so happy to be back and bringing you all a brand new episode, and my 51st guest is Tyler Peters. A lot is going to be changing as I am back to doing my show by myself without any co-host. Tyler is leaving due to coming projects, and Nicole is a busy person and will come on when she is available. I hope everyone is doing well, and I got your messages asking when I was returning. So here I am. Now, before we get into this episode with Tyler Peters, I want to shout out some incredible podcasts. Culture Shock, The Russia Bunny Weekly Report, In the Corner WWE with Benny Mac, Back When with Danny and Tyler, Around the Table, Wrestling Scoops, brought to you by Russia Bunny. So please go give them a listen, as I will have their links in the description below. And now, the wait is over. Please enjoy the 51st episode of Standing Strong with Waylon Myers, as my guest is Tyler Peters. And now, welcome back to Standing Strong with Waylon Myers. Please welcome the 51st guest of Standing Strong, Tyler Peters. What's up, Tyler?
Waylon, I am just so honored to be on here with you and your guest. Thank you so much for having me. It's like always, it's fantastic to see you again.
Thank you so much. At this time, can you please tell everyone why you are leaving Standing Strong?
Certainly, this was not an easy decision, as Waylon has relayed to everyone about me leaving Standing Strong. I just had so many other projects that were taking up my time. And to be fair and respectful to the host, Waylon Myers, who I also consider a dear friend, I was not going to be able to fulfill my obligations concerning Standing Strong going forward. So this is a farewell of sorts. Now, I'm sure I'll be a guest or could still appear occasionally. But as far as being on here more consistently, that's going to change. But I'll tell you, this guy's amazing. He's going to do wonderful things, and he's going to continue to be an inspiration. I've just been so honored to partake in this specific show, and the way you spread positivity, Waylon. It's just, a lot of admiration belongs to you, my friend. and that's it. I've just there's a lot of things that have changed my schedule, and I've got a lot busier as of late. But I'll tell you what, you are going to do just wonderful things and change people's lives for the better with using your words, if I can kind of preference it that way.
Thank you so much, Tyler. It was a
Oh, you're
huge
welcome.
honor to have you during this journey with me. It's been an incredible ride. We have interviewed amazing people along the way. So thank you
Oh,
for
we
being
have.
a co-host and tagging along with me during this crazy talk, sir.
You've been a just a tremendous tag team partner as the host and the guy that created this type of content. I've just got to salute you, Waylon. It's man, it has been an honor, is an understatement. It's been a thrill. We've had a lot of fun. Thanks to you, I wouldn't be able to sit in on these interviews with Darman guests, Lillian Garcia for crying out loud, and just all the just inspiring guests. I'll just go back to how you're using positivity and self-esteem with courage. A lot of those terms apply to what you're relaying here on Standing Strong. So I want to thank you personally. Our friendship holds a special place in my heart, and I want you to know that.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. This road is full of a lot of anxiety and depression, and people sometimes want to give up. They feel they are not worth it, don't have a purpose, or talk down on themselves. I had my fair share of anxiety and depression, and I just kept going and told myself I was enough. What do you have to say to others dealing with these situations?
You answered it perfectly, and I'm just going to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, Waylon, right there. We all do have our issues. We struggle with depression. I'll be open. It wasn't too long ago I went through a depression myself, and you find encouragement with the words you were saying and explaining right then and there. Is that you have to remind yourself that you are enough, that you're strong, and you got to remain positive, which is not always easy. It's easier said than done. And reach out to friends, whether that's at church, whether you're still going to school, no matter the occasion. I don't know what your circumstance would be. Only you would have the answers to those questions. But my advice would be, is what I'm trying to say, because this is a tough question to always respond to. But truthfully, I'll tell you what, prayer always works for me. I've not always done a great job as it relates to asking God all the time. I'm just going to be very transparent with everybody. Family is always significant. Friends, which you are just a great friend, by the way. And we discuss a lot of times, even off air, and about these various topics. I know the guests you've had. It's been interesting the way they deal with depression and a lot of the anxieties that God knows, because He created us to have to endure, and that's what gets us through our day, gets us through the years. We have to remain very resilient in our strength, not just on the outside, but the inside as well. So, just finding that courage with whether it's friendship, family, or God Himself, and just whatever you do. Just don't give up. Remember, even if it looks bad or gets worse, it's always going to be better. There's always going to be a way.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you. All right, Tyler. Now, bullying is an issue in this road. We all have experienced it sometime in our life, and to this day even. Yes, I had hard times with it, and I do get nervous with my speech impediment. Now, Tyler, share some topics on how you would avoid what people think and what courage you give people out there facing it today.
My answer would be just be nice back to them. Because a lot of times it's their own insecurities that are making them want to be a bully.
Like,
I would just say share, hope with them because maybe they just need some reassurance, depending on what they're going through, their circumstance. However, and also, if I'm dealing with a particular situation, I just try to go to God and try to, or friends, family. I'm kind of going back to a lot of these analogies, but it's very true to find reinforcements in not only my physical self, but also mental, because a lot of it deals with our mindset. And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would just try to even help the person that's bullying me. I know, it's a lot of human intuition to maybe fight them or take up for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I'm just thinking of a different approach because if you love somebody, if you can show them too, it's easy to say it, but you got to demonstrate the kind of emotional connection with them that may change their life. And it's just sometimes so complicated, but we have to kind of look within ourselves, look and see what that person is going through to understand why they would act in a certain way. And sometimes just praying for them, even if you don't get along with the person, maybe they just need Jesus, maybe they just need a helping hand, as a lot of people will reference. I know it sounds cliche, but I think in a lot of cases it's very true.
Hmm. Absolutely. I agree. Amen. Now, some people struggle with their weight, food, disorders, and even diet. This topic is a good one to talk about. I struggle with my weight, eat junk food, drink sauna, you name it. As long as you exercise, drink water, eat healthier, and stay at it will work itself into place. It's sad seeing people struggle with food allergies, getting sick, and can't lose weight. Tyler, what advice would you like to share about this topic to let people know they can overcome it?
I would say don't give up. Let your weaknesses be your motivation. At least speaking for me, from my experience. Hey, listen, this has been an issue. Everybody, at least for the most part, has weight issues and it struggles, and it really, I think that's what causes a lot of our issues mentally, because we shouldn't always worry about the what we appear to be on the outside. It should be more important part of me how we are on the inside and how that shows on the exterior. However, exercise is not always enough. It comes down to nutrition, eating. Trust me, and there's all these kind of diets, and it's not easy because hey, food can be an addiction. Trust me, I've been there. I told and but I'll tell you what, you just can never give up. I know we're going to keep saying
Hmm.
care. Hey, listen, I'm going to make some lifestyle changes, and hey, I'm going to be frank. I need to be making some lifestyle changes. I've not been very good on my diet. I've not been very steady or consistent, and that's all very vital elements if you're going to get healthier. But yeah, there's something about exercise too, Waylon, and I know you've often spoke about it. It does help you mentally because you're doing something, or if you're finding something, whether it's outside or even inside someplace, it could be a house, maybe your workplace. You're just feeling like you're getting involved. That can do so many wonders for you, not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, all of
Hmm.
those things kind of entail. So that's what I would say. Just instead of getting down on ourselves like we often do, use it as motivation. Say, I'm going to do better. Hey, listen, it's another day. It's a brand new day. And don't get down. And we just need to remind ourselves because I feel empowered just saying it. Maybe instead of being so negative, which I know I tend to be, we got to be positive. We got to be confident. I'm not saying prideful because we got to be careful. It's okay to be proud of accomplishments, but that's
Right.
where it's a lot of humanity's downfall. But we just have to try to stay on course. And it's hard because it takes willpower. it's in our head as much as it is that we're thinking of our bodies. So yeah, water, drinking lots of water, exercising, but also, eating right. I mean, all that has to marry together. And a lot of times I may exercise, but if I'm not eating right, no wonder put two and two together. I shouldn't get mad about it. Hey, listen, I just got to change some things, modify it. And it basically comes down to that.
Absolutely. Thank you for this advice. Now, Tyler, I'm a true believer in God. I know there are people who are and people who are not, which is okay. Sometimes people may feel God doesn't care about them or he's too busy. But he does listen to people. It might not happen right away, but things will get better with him in your life. What would you like to share with people out there who don't believe? What would you like to suggest to those who do believe on how to keep their faith strong?
Remember that you're human. It's still no excuse, but also you need to remember that we're all going to go through our struggles, and we're going to go through some, times where things are not going to always be on the up and up. It's not going to always be, just looking in a positive light. We're just going to face a lot of challenges regarding our lives, but we still got to remain open to the Spirit of the Lord, also hear His voice, not just our conscience, but and that's not always an easy thing to do. We have to separate, what we're going through compared to what God can bring us out. There's going to be, a greater purpose for us concerning our lives if we just learn to separate our problems and leave them to God and just say, we're these burdens, Jesus, we need you to take care of them. Even if you don't know the Lord, listen, I'm a believer, I'm a follower, but I also am going to struggle. Like I said, we're all human, and God knows this. I think oftentimes, Waylon, God will laugh because He knows, hey, you made a mistake, and I know how this is going to go. I've already seen how the progression of when you're going through a trial, a tribulation, and we just have to remain strong. We gotta not only be strong with going through depression, anxiety, maybe it's health issues, but also spiritually with our relationship with the Heavenly Father. And I haven't always done good. I'll be honest. Here lately, I've not done good praying, reading my Bible, even for somebody that believes and is supposed to be a Christian. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be honest because I think it's easy to go, oh, yeah, we're doing this and that. Give me an A if you're grading. And actually, it probably needs to be a D or I failed because I've not done well. I hope this is making sense. It's almost hard to describe unless you've been through it. Mm-hmm. And trust me, I think we all have been through something or another in our lives. And it's just, I know it can be disheartening. I know maybe you're heartbroken from a relationship. Maybe you're lonely. You want to find that special somebody. Who knows what it may be? Maybe you've just lost a loved one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of illustrations. You just got to hold on to your faith in God. You've got to, and it's not always simple. It's easy to say it, but until you live it and go through a certain situation, it makes it very complex. But that's where we find our greatest blessings is when we're going through our darkest times. And even in our good times, we can make them dark. It works both ways. So it's important to, have the recall to know, hey, listen, even if things seem down, even if I'm not in the best mental state, there's only one solution, one answer. And even if you don't believe, let me tell you something, Jesus Christ can bring you out of it. And really, that's a testimony. I mean, you could use that as to witness to somebody that doesn't know the Lord. And listen, I never try to push my faith on anybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes I question my faith, but God always gives me the proper answer.
Absolutely. Amen. Arts and hobbies are good ways to keep your mind going in life. What tips or ideas do you give people to try new things?
I would, my advice would be just try. You never know. I mean, it's easy to get discouraged. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, just like trying to take up the keyboard. I always liked the piano or an instrument. Always was fascinated with anything musical. I sing and stuff, and I still got to improve on how to sing, knowing the techniques and everything. So I would just say, even if it's music or if it's a sport or just finding some sort of activity, it is very important to keeping our minds healthy, and that helps us. It's a big assist, actually a great one. And I think hobbies are good. I think just finding something to keep you occupied, keeping you busy, because it's a nice distraction. There's always the negative distractions, and there's also the positive ones, and that would equate anytime you can find, well, maybe you want to write. Maybe your aspirations are to author a book. I mean, it could go to literature. It could be in a lot of different facets of life. It's just, and even pray about it. If you're not sure or certain, you're like, oh, I'm so worried. My anxiety's kicking in naturally. Can I actually do something? Can I accomplish this? It's just very important and instrumental to just believing yourself. And that's not always easy either. But you'll amaze yourself at what you can do if you'll just have faith in your abilities.
Absolutely. I love that. Now, Tyler, you are a huge WWE fan like myself.
I am.
What do you think of the storylines today compared to back in the day? What do you say to people who don't watch it and think it's fake?
Well, my answer would be it's no different than a lot of the films you view or sitcoms. Wrestling, especially WWE, why they brand themselves sports entertainment, because it's actually always had that, even back in the territorial days, a lot of the various promotions. I would say it's just like a soap opera. If you like Days of Our Lives, even though there's some contrast to WWE, it still possesses a lot of the same characteristics, but yet it involves sport. I mean, these ladies and men are tremendous athletes, and yeah, everybody seems to think, oh, because it's scripted, it's fake, but no, it's not. It's very physical. It's not easy to do, and they're putting their bodies on the line. There's a lot they sacrifice and have to go through to even become a pro wrestler, or you want to call it a sports entertainer. I would just say it depends on the storyline. The Bloodline is a great illustration of one storyline that's keeping me invested. But I will say that a lot of the storylines back in the 90s and 80s and even 70s, and probably predates those decades, however, have all been just classic stories. And it's all been part of why we are drawn to pro wrestling. So I've always been a fan, likewise, like yourself, as you aforementioned, Waylon, of not just not WWE, but also WCW, the NWA, a lot of the territories, just like I spoke about, but of course, especially World Wrestling Entertainment. Uh, but that's a lot of my motivation and reasons why to kind of wrap this up. My answer here as to why I fell in love with professional wrestling. It's the characters. It's good versus evil. Just like if you're watching a good action flick, or if it's a romantic novel, it's got a little bit of everything, just kind of integrated into it. And it just really has drawn me ever since I was a little kid. And even now, I got to admit, there was a period in time where I didn't watch it. I kind of got burnt out. And then it got me back into it by a certain storyline. But it took a kind of like the cinematic twist you would see in any kind of film, or even a comedic one in a funny TV series or whatnot.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for this reply. All right. So people who have disability are still normal and with every second in life. God created us the same no matter what. It sickens me to see people judge others based on their appearance. That's sorry, mal and odd, and should be fixed in this road. What advice do you give people out there who might be sad by the way people treat them because of their disability?
Don't be sad. Don't allow these kind of comments or the way people perceive you to determine who you are. Uh, if you've got a disability, I think that's your strength. A lot of people that they characterize as being less than normal are actually some of the most talented individuals you'll find during a lifetime. So just draw some inspiration, speaking of that word, from a lot of these circumstances. And just love yourself. I don't mean in a bad way, but love yourself to know that you are good enough, like Waylon often talks about. It's just like Waylon, you get the speech impediment. Hey, I've got a slight form of autism. I don't know that a lot of people know that, or at least that's the assumption, some form of it. But do you think I'm going to let that dictate what I'm going to do in life? And let me tell you something. We're doing these podcasts. We're able to reach people, and that's why I say don't let what others say determine your outcome. I think that's just very important to remember as we go through life.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And now, Tyler, the more love and passion we bring into the world, the better we all will be. What changes would you like to see to make this world a better place?
How about we stop judging one another and show the world love, where we can find peace and harmony? That's a glaring issue. Everybody wants to bicker. No wonder we create our own issues between each other, because in a lot of that distrust, that's where it manufactures. Because in our self-esteem issues, because we've got to look like this, so and so, and I'm not even knocking them. It's just there's always this perception. Oh, everything's got to be perfect, even with technology and doing streaming like podcasts, and that's just not real life. It's not reality. And but going beyond that, to answer your question and go a little more in depth, that's what I find a recurring theme, at least for me, even on a personal level, and even it's just connecting with people. And a lot of times it's my fault. I put up the walls, and so does others as well in that regard. We just have to be a support system. We got to go, hey, listen, I love you. Pay them a compliment. I mean, just saying something simple goes a long way. And we just don't fully comprehend how important those words can be, because words can hurt. They do have power. That's why we have to start speaking in a more positive tone and not so much negative, and looking at what's dreary, getting ourselves downtrodden and down the wrong path. That's what keeps us on the straight and narrow. And a lot of times it can be a family member. It can even be a friend where you have an argument. It can, you never know, a coworker, using different examples of just how things transpire in real life. And that's the thing. I just see, forget politics, forget everything else. We just need to love each other. I get so tired of people. It's okay to have opinions, but a lot of times those opinions is what tears us down. Let's start being strong, like your message is, and be encouragers. Let's bring everybody together. Man, we always want to be divisive in our world, especially today, whether it's social media or it's even out there in life, and it's just not right. Come on, we need to come together. We need to stand together. We need to find a common ground, work toward a common goal, and that's something that is just tragically missing in today's environment. But I would just say love. That's a key thing. Compassion. It all relates to love. Be that shoulder somebody can lean on, even if you can't be there in the present, maybe spiritually, maybe through prayer. I mean, that works. Absolutely. So that's all I would surmise. Just I see so much of it, and I know it's going to continue, because unfortunately it's just a part of society, but that's what is humanity's downfall. We're so
Absolutely.
quick to tear somebody else down instead of building them up. And that is a glaring problem.
It is 100%.
And that's why I'm passionate. That's why my tone even changed a little bit, pardon. But it just does. It kind of aggravates me when it's not meaning to, but the more I think about it, I'm like, it's
Yeah.
pretty obvious here, folks. Let's just try to help each other instead of, oh, I need to do it this way. It needs to be all about me. I'm not saying I haven't been guilty. Trust me, I have.
Yep.
But that's a lot of the issues. Speaking of things people go through, you never know what somebody goes through, and I have to remind myself somebody else has to educate me. I mean, that's just crucial wisdom right there. Is that maybe why they're quick to anger or having an attitude problem? You just never know, and we all go through differing situations, but we got to remember, let's uplift somebody. Let's show them what love truly and really means and entails.
Absolutely. You never know what anyone is going through unless you are in their shoes.
Correct. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you. All right, Tyler. What an incredible conversations we had during this 51st episode of Standing Strong with Waylon Myers. Tyler, at this time, is there any final things you would like to say to the Standing Strong viewers?
Sure. I just want to thank you, Waylon, for taking the time. It has been a terrific conversation, and I want to show my gratitude to you, and also for the audience, the viewers out there. I just want to take this moment to thank you also for including me and having me as your co-host on several episodes. But I'll tell you, whether you're doing it solo, you've got a co-host, Waylon. What you're doing is just so wonderful. It means so much to everyone that is a part of this experience. And I just want to tell you to keep inspiring. Speaking of encouragement, that's what you've done for me and so many others. So I have just been honored to be a part and to be a special guest on your program. And I want to say a farewell. It doesn't mean it's got to be an extended farewell. I could still be a special co-host or even a guest down the road, as I have before, even now. But I just wanted to finish it up by saying it's just been a beautiful experience to be able to encourage people and society, as what we're relating a lot of the Q&A to, and like so many of your just terrific guests. I've just been so thrilled to have at least sit in and ask a few questions, because out of respect, the questions that you ask and the way you're able to detail the conversation, it just speaks to your immense talents. And I just want to say that it has just been a pleasure to be a part of your program.
Thank you so much, and it was a
you're very welcome.
huge honor to have you tag team this with me. I wish you all the best with your coming projects to come for the remaining year of 2023. At
Thank
this
you.
time, thank you everyone for viewing and listening to the 51st episode of Standing Strong with Waylon Myers, as my special guest was Tyler Peters. Until the next episode of Standing Strong, remember to stay strong, and you are ready. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Standing Strong with Waylon Myers. Follow the show on Facebook, Standing Strong with Waylon Myers, on Instagram and Twitter @_Waylon Myers_, on TikTok, Waylon_Myers, and for everything Standing Strong with Waylon Myers, visit the official YouTube channel at youtube.com/Waylon Myers. Until the next time, stay strong.